is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, aka the Hokage of the village. Hidden in that loud, you feel me? And we're going to jump back in on the Johnny Somali case. The last time we checked in on Johnny Somali is when we found out that he was trying, well, him and his lawyer were trying to skirt the trial of the deep fakes. Johnny Somali pled not guilty to the deep fakes or to the production of the deep fakes. Yes, he said that he did spread it out once it was already made, but he says that he's not the one that actually made it. And the prosecution argued that since Johnny Somali is saying that he's, pleading not guilty to this, and that he's that the witnesses, the one that he makes the deepfakes of, that they should have the ability to go and fight against him saying not guilty. They want to prove that he did it. So the deepfake trials are going to happen. The judge agreed with the plaintiff, and yeah. So we're gonna go jump back into legal mindset once again and find out what is new with Johnny Somali, because apparently Johnny Somali risks jail for life. That's facts. Let me turn my thing on vibrate. Sorry. Anyway, not sorry. So let's get it. As always, link to the channel, link to the video will be in the description below. But let's see how 1000% cooked Johnny is. By the way, remember that Johnny's real name is Ramsey Khalid Ishmael. Don't forget that, just in case, just because, like,
Johnny Somali,
if he ever gets out or whatever happens in the future, you want to make sure you remember who he is. Even if he tries to drop the name Johnny Somali,
could be jailed for life. Today on this update on the Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey. Johnny Somali could be jailed for life.
Ooh.
Today on this update on the Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey Khalid Ismail case, we're going to talk about a potential path, a potential future where Johnny Somali might be facing life in prison, and that is not hyperbole. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is Legal Minds, where we teach you to be your own judge. And this is one that I spent a last 2 weeks kind of vetting, going over. I moved the topic for the stream that's adjacent to this. And of course, this is a fast version, facts version. If you like the brief and dirty, quick version of the latest in legal news, make sure you smash the like button and leave a comment
as we
below.
do.
But in the live, we'll go into further details and have extra stuff. So if you want to go and check that out as well. But when I saw this come across my desk, I went out, asked the lawyers in Korea, asked people knowledgeable in this. And when I found out there's a real possibility, I needed to bring this to your attention.
Okay, there we go.
I typically am only focusing on legal stuff, but this is a legal silver bullet that could hit Johnny Somali if he plays his cards wrong. So let's just jump right into it today with this. Of course, I have a PP.
September 22nd update
today.
Let's go.
So as a quick update on what's coming next, because some people keep asking me wherever I go, when's the next trial? When's the next trial? October 29th, 2025. Now, that trial will focus on 3 witnesses. We know one of them is Bong Bong. We know another is Young Man. And the last, we are pretty sure, is Hank Yu. Yes, that's right, Hank Yu. And he'll be called as a prosecution witness. In America, you sometimes call this a hostile witness. So you're bringing that person up mostly to validate evidence or validate their presence, saying, hey, is that you in this photo? Is that you in this video? So that is possible to come up in the next trial. And then you would have, of course, cross-examination. You'd have a redirect or re-examination. We also found out that Dalgoon is not testifying. So we wanted to correct that, because previously we thought it was going to be Dalgoon, but actually it looks like it's going to be Hank. So that's what we got on October 29th. This is going to be a big day, because remember, every single trial that we've had coming up over the past year for Johnny Somali, right before the trial, right before, whether it's 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 1 week, he's been hit with a new charge. And this has been very consistent. And all the time, especially the pro-Somali simps will say, oh, it's not going to happen. Legal Mindset's making it up. Legal Mindset's making it up. Every single time we're proven right.
You guys remember when the Johnny Somali simps were trying to help Johnny escape South Korea? And Johnny had that plan of going up to North Korea for a while. And I don't know, man. He just thought he was he was so smart and that he's going to be fine. He's going to get away with everything. And now everything is blowing up in his face. And It's like watching the slow destruction of a force of chaos. It's like it's dying out. It's like it's a beautiful sight, and peace returns once again. You know what I'm saying? It's calmness.
Now, this time it is a strong inkling, but the road really depends on what Johnny Somali does. So, and also depends on some world events. So, we'll get into that today. So, right now, just so you know, this is the current status. He's got 4 obstruction of business, all of which he's pled guilty to, 2 minor offenses act, both of which he's pled guilty to, and he's pending the deep fakes. Really, this is a
Yeah, the deepfakes are the ones with the most jail time, up to 7 years imprisonment. You know what I'm saying? Like, and with no like fine or anything like that. No, you can't get out with money. You have to do that time. And like it's over with. So he pled guilty to the easy ones, the ones that are like up to 5 years imprisonment or a fine up to 50 million won. Which, by the way, how much is 50 million won in USD again? Let me double check. 50 million won to USD is 35,958.82. You can't see that. Hold on. There you go. $35,958.82. So he's probably hoping he'll get away with just that, just like he did in Japan when he caused trouble in Japan. They let him off with a fine and banned him from Japan for a few years. So he's probably hoping to just get this fine as well, because that's probably what he was while he was doing all of his crimes. It's probably what he was focusing on. Like, this ain't gonna be nothing. I'm never actually gonna go to jail. They can't hold me. I'm an American. Blah 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 blah. Probably just have to pay a fine. That's probably what he was thinking it was gonna happen. But now he'll, these deepfake ones, if these land, which they should. I mean, they're like, come on, man. They gotta land. There's like up to 7 years imprisonment, and they might just stack that 5 years. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 years from these other 4 guilty ones that he pled guilty to. These other 4 charges that he pled guilty to. Because what would be the point in letting him pay the fine of 50 million won, but still have to spend? Maybe they might do that. You can pay the 50 million won fine to get rid of all these. So that would be 35,000 times 4, by the way. And then he still had to spend the 7 years imprisonment. 14 years imprisonment because it's 2 deep fakes. I don't know, man. I'm just hoping that deep fakes land. He has to learn his lesson. I mean, if they let him off with just a fine again, like they did in Japan, he's not gonna learn his lesson. He's gonna keep terrorizing other countries and try to, do whatever he was planning on doing.
About the deep
like incite war or whatever.
And he's facing currently 12 years max under the guidelines. Now, mind you, as these additional counts pile on, if he was to get another count of obstruction, etc., it doesn't change the maximum, but it does push the minimum up closer to the max. So yes, additional counts, yes, they don't increase the max, but they increase the likely sentence. So his likely sentence keeps going up and up and up under the Korean sentencing guidelines.
Okay.
Currently, it's at 12, but we're going to talk about how it could get to life. So this is the Somali cycle. We've talked about this. If you're a fan of watching the Ramsey Khalid Ismail trial, you know about this, but it's important to kind of refresh your memory. So what used to happen with Johnny Somali is he would act out, rage would ensue, nobody would cover it, and the heat would die down, he'd escape, and then go do it again. He'd be released out of the country, etc. Well, as we've been covering it, we've been seeing him act out, rage ensues, we cover it, it goes viral, and the pressure on him increases. Now, I have said, and I do commit myself to this, that I focus on the legal parts of this, not drama, not other stuff, not Discord stuff. No, none of that. I'm focusing on the law. And today we're going to talk about the law. But what's very important here is that we are at the part in the cycle where he is very close to acting out. And there are a bunch of signals that show he's getting that itch. It's been months since his last incident, and he just can't control himself, and he's been sending some signals that he wants some attention.
But that's one thing I can never understand about Somali. He's already got all these charges against him, yet he still continues to go out and add more. It's like he needs to do something. It's like he starts for maybe I was thinking like I was thinking like maybe he starts running out of money or something, and so he goes out and tries to stream himself acting out in a in order to try and drum up some funds from his live streams. But then he has that he's not allowed to make money in Korea. You know, he doesn't have a job license, so he's not supposed to be able to make money in Korea. But with streaming, I mean, like how can they really stop that? To be honest, um, that's why I always thought. But maybe he actually just feels the need to piss people off for whatever reason, and he just figured he'd try to monetize it. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This shit is ridiculous.
And that he might be acting out again. And I feel that could even happen before the next trial. And that would be a massive, massive error. We're going to talk about that today. So, what are some of the factors here? Well, one of the big factors, this one ties into geopolitical events, is this immigration raid against Korean workers in Georgia. Now, why would that affect
immigration? South Korea workers hunkered down in Georgia as U.S. raid on Hyundai deepens anxiety. They stopped going to work. Everybody right now is staying in their hotels or houses. Woo-won Technologies boss Ken Shim says. U.S. diplomat expresses regret over immigration raid on Korea workers. South Korea says, in a meeting in Seoul, a top South Korean official urged Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau to advance discussions on follow-up measures, including a new visa category, the foreign ministry.
Korea, why would that affect Johnny Somali? Let me explain this to you. So these South Korean workers in Georgia were subject to an ICE raid. And what happened with them is they were operating and working under impermissible visas. So in case you guys know, it's a little bit complicated, but people who live abroad like me and other folks know this very, very well.
You have to have a visa
when you are
right?
somewhere, you need to make sure you are working under the right visa and doing the right type of work that you are authorized to do.
Right. So if you go there on an actual job visa, like say if you go to Japan for a teaching visa, you have to actually be there to teach. Instead of going there to teach and then like getting a teaching job, but then quitting it like, I don't know, as soon as you can, and then just trying to live there doing whatever you want. And then you're supposed to be there to teach. You gotta be there to teach. If you get like a visitor's visa, you go there to visit. It's not like you can start trying to teach or, you know, hustle and make money out there either. Just you're visiting, do your thing, get out. Workers visa, other type of job visa, go there, do your job, do your thing, get out. So I get what he's saying. Continue.
So for example, if you are authorized to teach English, you cannot go be a car mechanic. You are not authorized to do that. That's beyond the scope of your authorization. Now, some work authorizations are very broad. Some are more limited, like, for example, just to teaching. Others might give you more free range. And some of them, for example, say, hey, you can work remotely and do pretty much anything. So, hey, that's cool, whatever, right? And this was such a bad incident that the U.S. diplomat to Korea had to express regret over that raid, because what happens in these instances is it's tit for tat. Korea will now look, hey, how can we crack down on Americans to get back at America? Or not even saying get back. That sounds too revengeful. It's just, hey, okay, if you're going to be strict on your visas, we're going to do that too. It's equal fair treatment, right? Fair play. If you're going to crack down on Korean workers that were working under either tourist visas or other visas, which didn't really authorize them to work, hey, we're going to look at Americans in Korea and say, hey, how can we crack down on them? And that would be very, very easy to do. Why? Because many Americans are working in Korea either without a work visa or earning under the wrong visa. And the most likely target, the one that people have to worry about for, and I know, by the way, a lot of you watching the Somali coverage are international school. Maybe you're international school students, international school teachers.
I feel like I know where this is going. I think he's going to say that the Somali doesn't have a work visa in Korea, but he's been making money through his streams, which is technically working. So that would go against Somali, and I'm guessing since that would break the immigration laws, that could help push it up to being a life in prison or something.
guys, pay attention because this is something you guys really, really, really want to know. So what I would imagine is this would be the low-hanging fruit. Everybody knows there's a bunch of teachers in Korea. That's one of the biggest professions for foreigners, particularly Americans. So the easiest thing would be to look at teachers, especially international school teachers, and say, hey, are they teaching non-permitted subjects? What does this mean? What this means is these teachers are only permitted to teach English. They're only supposed to teach English. However, some of them are doing stuff like teaching math. Maybe they're teaching, medieval swordsmanship. Maybe they're teaching some extracurricular.
Imagine a math teacher teaching medieval swordsmanship, or like he's teaching math in school, but then he's like a homeschool specialized teacher who teaches medieval swordsmanship to whoever wants to learn. We still get in trouble if it's like it's kind of under the table and not really like an official job. We still get in trouble for that.
Or some other thing, history, etc. They're not authorized to do that. They're doing something beyond what they should be doing. So if Korean immigration really wanted to look hard, they would go into the schools, go into the international schools, go into others, and go knock on those doors and say, hey, look, you're not teaching what you should be teaching. They just do a random check of the schools. And that would be a big problem because there are a lot of people doing that. And by the way, this is a very common practice. It's not a bad thing necessarily on the teachers themselves. Sometimes they're told by the schools to do it, and the schools like turn a blind eye, or they know that they're bending the rules, right? These things happen. But Korea could look at this and say, hey, that's the same thing you did to us in Georgia. We're going to do this over to you here in Seoul, in Busan, in Suwon, and that would be very, very bad. But what they could do instead, and I know that people who are in the Korean system, in the Korean government, in the Korean influencers, they watch my channel. I know these videos are going to get the word out there. I know people are going to spread this. What they could do is crack down on streamers instead. Right? Nuisance streamers are a huge problem. And if you really want to go tit for tat and you want to make, do something that'll matter, crack down on people streaming.
That's true. Because it's not just Johnny Somali that's in Korea, South Korea, streaming, you know what I'm saying? And making money while streaming over there. There's a ton of other streamers that are there that don't have work visas. I never thought about that, to be honest. Like if you go into another country and you're a streamer and you stream while in that other country and you make money while in that other country, like, yeah, you're technically making US dollars and not like whatever their currency is. But does it still count as working like in that country? Does it like, I guess it does. Damn. So all the streamers will be fucked. Damn it, Johnny, you see what you're doing? You must have things up for everybody.
Without proper permits, without either a digital nomad visa or on some sort of other visa that allows for remote work, you could do that. And obviously, if you did that, who would be a clear target? Johnny Somali. He's been streaming, he's been making money, he's still, in certain ways profiting off of social media and off social media exposure. So obviously they could go after him. Now, what would that be? Likely a fine. Maybe there could be a charge there. Immigration works separately from the criminal process, and it often doesn't want to do that much. It's kind of a little bit of, hey, we'll do something when he hits the border, but not yet. But they might feel like they need to do something to show, hey, we're doing something in response to what happened in America. So if they wanted to do that, obviously they could hit Somali with a fine. That's one thing, right? But there's another, and there's a life in prison option, and it's not from immigration. But before I get to this, make sure you hit the like button, guys.
That picture though, I love it,
guys, and like the video.
With the cabbages,
work into these in this PowerPoint today.
By the way, the cabbage thing, there's a whole I guess side joke with legal mindset behind the cabbages. They're saying that Johnny Somali might end up working in the Korea's prison's cabbage farm. And so he'd be picking cabbages a bunch of times, So that's why the cabbages are there. He'd be like, how on Airbender, the cabbage guy, that'd be Johnny Somali. Except, he'd be forced to do it and not doing it because he likes cabbages.
This research took a very, very long time. So just let me know you appreciate it through a like. It's free. Okay. By the way, we may or may not have cabbage merch coming. Anyways.
Hell yeah.
Life in prison may happen under the Youth Sexual Protection Act. So let me tell you about this act. It protects children and adolescents. This means any child or youth that define it as under 19 years old. And I know it's different from America. America's 18, right? There's different rules, but under this act, it is 19 years old. There are numerous crimes against youth and children that are included within this parameter, within the parameters of this. And one important thing is it
imagine if we had our legal age set to 19. Because technically you're still in your teens. You feel me? And then your 20 is like, 20. So if legal age here was 19 as well, and in America, that'd be cool with me.
finds youth and child sexual exploitation material
I wouldn't
in
care.
such
I
a
don't think anyone
way
should.
that could include the Statue of Peace. That's right, the Statue of Peace. That is the depiction of a young girl that is 14 years old. We're going to go over, we'll get to that, of a young.
Define child youth sexual exploitation material in a way that could include the Statue of Peace. The same statue that Johnny was, twerking in front of, putting oil and dancing on, putting oil on and dancing in front of. That statue that like really pissed off the Koreans. Yeah. Oh, he's fucked. So he even broke the Youth Sexual Protection Act. Is he technically? Would that technically make Johnny Somali a, child abuser in a way?
Young girl that is 14 years old. We're going to go over, we'll get to that. And that's included. Let's read this statute in this article. Under Section 5, it says child and youth sexual exploitation material refers to material depicting a child or youth or a person or representation that can be clearly recognized as a child or youth performing any of the acts listed in each subparagraph Article 4. Or performing any sexual act in the form of film, video game, image, or video through a computer. So what this means is the statue is a representation of a child. So if Johnny Somali goes out there throwing baby oil on it, right? Doing a Diddy dance, calling it a Diddy party, right? And escalating. Once again, he moved from kissing to grinding to dancing. If he goes out there and simulates a sexual act on this statue, which would be the clear escalation, and based on his latest post, it seems like he even intends to do this, to go out and escalate once again against this statue. That's a representation of a child.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. And the state can just prosecute him for that themselves. They don't need someone else to file the charges. Can't the state just charge him for that itself? Hopefully they do. I would love to see that shit. So I'm starting to see the extra evidence, all the extra evidence that's piling up that could lead to Johnny spending life in Korean prison. And probably end up just like Vitaly, because Vitaly is in the Philippines in prison, but in both states that he has that he calls home, or that he has citizenship in, which is Russia and the U.S. Neither of those states want Vitaly back, and so he's kind of in limbo there, and so stuck in the Philippines right now. So the same thing could happen to Johnny, like he goes to Korean prison and it's set for life or whatever, and then Korea's like, hey, America, you want your guy back? I mean, if you want him back, you can take him back, and if you want to change the sentencing, you can do that as well, whatever. America might just be like, nah, you can keep him. We'll throw you a couple extra bucks because a couple extra hundreds of millions, however much you need, because you have to keep him in your prison. So as a sorry for you having to take care of him in your prison, here's a couple extra. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. He can stay over there though. We don't really want him back. You're doing a great job.
And that is something that would get you, and let's read this carefully here. I'll even make it bigger for you guys. Any person who produces, imports, or exports child, youth, sexual exploitation materials shall be punished by imprisonment for life.
Bro, fuck the extra evidence. All you needed was just this. Excuse me. the big thing that he did in Korea when he first got there was that, or one of the biggest things that he did in Korea. Excuse me. And that right there is already a penalty that can result in life in prison. Okay. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I would not wish death on Johnny Somali, but prison? Yeah. That's what's up. So all the yeah. He's got to be going, bro. How cooked is
or
he?
for a term of not less than 5 years. Not less than 5 years, guys. Up to life.
Up to
No
life,
joke here, no exaggeration. Let's talk about this. Now, the Statue of Peace clearly represents a comfort woman who was sold into slavery by the Japanese military, and it depicts a young teenage girl. They chose to depict a 15-year-old girl to represent the victims at the time they were taken. This is a person under 19, fits the definition of the statue. At this point, there is no excuse for Johnny Somali. He knows what this represents. He said he knows what this represents. We're in the middle of the trial, so he can't deny knowledge. He's been told multiple times. He's facing crimes right now, like multiple crimes, right? He knows this. So if he goes out and does this, it's with knowledge of what that represents. There's
but maybe we shouldn't have put the video out yet, because if he's planning to go out again and cause trouble, and he was planning to go to the comfort statue, let's say he sees this video and he's like, oh well, because you know they gotta be watching him, right? Because Johnny's already been talking about legal mindset for a bit, and because he's been hating on him, so someone might actually be checking on this for him. But he's Johnny. He's gonna say fuck that shit. I don't give a shit. He's gonna say he's lying or whatever. That doesn't care.
He's no more denying it. There's no more pretending. He's been on the record. He's been questioned about this. There's multiple comments. He knows it depicts a child. So if he goes out there and does that, that would fit the definition under the statute. Now, because he knows this and he's threatened to go back, he has been reposting videos about the statue. This is why I decided to bring this up. This is why it's in my live is entitled "Don't Do It, Somali," because he's thinking about doing it. It's clear he's thinking about going to that statue for clout. And the news side.
But do you really want to warn him not to do it? Or do you want to wait until he does it and then just be like, all right, well, now you're fucked. Guess what? Guess what, you idiot? Nah, but I can respect telling him not to do it, because you don't want to put the Korean people through that shit again anyway. So yeah, I respect telling him, hey, just don't do it, Somali. Don't fucking do it.
Cycle is getting to where he would act out of attention, whether for clout or boredom, whatever, right? And you can see here. Now, I would encourage none of you to go to his social media. Do not feed the troll. I just clipped out what is important for you. So you guys do not have to go here. Do not feed him. Do not give him views. Do not do any of that. But you see what he's posting here. I asked Korean girls what they think of the comfort statue. And then my tribute at the Statue of Peace in Itaewon, right? So he's clearly, and he's reposting these. These are videos that he's choosing to repost just now in the past week or two. So what this symbolizes is he is thinking about that statue. He's thinking real hard about that statue and what he can do for attention, what he can do for clout, what he can do to get back on the map, to kind of get going, you know, and get everybody's attention again. This is something he is thinking about because he is choosing to repost these specific videos.
He's thirsty for clout. That clout for that. That clout is a mistress of dry mouth, of cotton mouth, bro. People be thirsty for clout all the time, bro. Shit. And then when they get it, it's not satisfactory. You know what I'm saying? It's like drinking water that doesn't hydrate you. You might drink it, but it's not, you're still thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So people be getting that clout chasing, bro. They be itching for that shit, bro. They're like, I drank some earlier, but I ain't really feeling it, bro. I gotta drink some more. You got any more clout, bro? You got any more clout, bro? You gotta do something for some clout, bro. Shit.
Very, 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 very problematic. Now, If he goes to the statue and escalates his behavior, particularly simulating a sexual act, the prosecutors or judge could add this charge. Now, to be very fair, this is a creative and new charge, but it is possible. So what I'm saying is, when I spoke to Korean lawyers, to the lawyers in Korea, to people with knowledge of the criminal system, they were like, wow, this is a possibility. However, it's creative. He would be the first, certainly the first foreigner charged with it, but it's possible. The way the statute reads, it's possible. It's possible. And if you push the judge and you show, and you're pushing Korea, you're pushing them at a point in which you really shouldn't be pushing. A point at which, hey, if you just went another way, you went another path, and we'll talk about that today. There's another path for Johnny that he could do. If you went that other path, it would be one thing. But if you go down this path, you go down this bad path, you're looking at up to life or 5 years. And before I do that, let's just talk about this. And I was thinking about the good and the bad path.
What if he did street interviews where he asked people, if someone has been bad in Korea, what should they do to apologize? What if he made videos like that and actually did those things and actually meant it? But he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't be able to mean it. He could tell he's not. He would be able to tell because he's not a good actor, and he'd just be faking it the entire time.
In light of the Charlie Kirk incident, obviously very, very unfortunate, but I was watching some of the clips from his funeral, and, I was inspired, especially by Erica Kirk, to say, even for Johnny Somali, let's give him one last chance to choose the good path or the bad path, right? Because everyone has a choice. And maybe Johnny even has one good person that's still speaking to him. And maybe he has one good person in his life. I don't know who that is. I don't know who it is. Maybe he has one good person that can still talk to him and say, Ramsey, save yourself. And this is my honest opinion here, is his chance to save himself or to doom himself really comes down to, is he going to end up doing this, acting out, doing something else? Because if he chooses to do this, he is going down a dark and bad path, a very dark and bad path. And we all have to choose between light and darkness. And this is his time, Ramsey, to choose the light path. And what is the light path? The light path here is you're better off changing your plea to guilty, admitting fault, sincerely atone, no fake apologies, no fake stuff, no sarcasm, nothing else, and back it up by actions. And
he's not going to do that. He is not going to do that. That's the funny thing, though, that he's not going to do that. Like, he's not going to do that. You just like, hey, man, I'm trying to warn you, bro. And if he says it could make things worse for him, he's going to be thinking, well, I'm already screwed anyway. I might as well go out in a blaze of glory or whatever. He's going to want to do something stupid. Like, I doubt someone like Johnny Somali is going to back down now after everything he's done.
And I know, we all know that it's really hard to go down this path, especially for a person like him, especially for a person who said the hardest thing, this is a Somali quote, he said the hardest thing for him is to apologize. Well, guess what? That's what needs to happen for you to choose that path. And even if it takes destroying your old personas, destroying your old characters and creating a new character, that's the good character, right? You've got to go down that path if you want to save yourself. And this is something that I find incredibly credible, because this was information that was filtered to me by sources that are probably coming from within Korea. And trust and believe that my information, every time I've gotten something, it's because people are thinking about it. And they are thinking, this is possible. We could do this. Should we do this? Right? And if he chooses that path to go out there and harass that statue again and to commit an act on that statue, it is not going to be good. It's going to be very, 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 very bad. So we'll see whether or not he does that. Now, cabbage merch is coming, guys. So I just want to let that know at the end of this, a little bit of a fun part about the end. But beyond that, I'm going to be covering the trial as it develops. Obviously, if there's any other big legal developments, I'll be on those. We will do a little bit of prep for this.
Man, oh man. I appreciate Legal Mindset for trying to warn Johnny Somali, but come on, man. I highly doubt Johnny's gonna listen now. It would be nice if he was able to talk Johnny out of, going after the comfort statue again and pissing off Korean people, the Korean people like that again. Like, do they really need to go through that again? No, they don't. Like, nobody should have to deal with somebody from some foreign country that wants to piss on something that's precious to your country's people. You know what I'm saying? That's a precious memory or representation to your people, something that's meaningful to them. Nobody wants you going around defiling that shit. And so it's nice that Legal Mindset's trying to warn Johnny, like, hey man, don't do this shit. But like, let's be real. It's Johnny Somali. Like I said before, I still believe that if he knows it's going to, even if he knows it's going to be bad for him, as long as he's his mindset is most likely going to be, I'm going to do it anyway. Like I got to do it. I have nothing to lose type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't know. It's I guess we'll see. We'll see in the future. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you know, the next time Legal Mindset makes another video update on Johnny, I'm gonna try and make sure I cover it. So see you then. Until then, yeah, peace and much love to you.